Welcome back to Group Chat Over Brunch, where the table is sacred, the combos are sacred, and the healing is holy. We are filming today at the one and only Edwins. Edwins has relocated to the Cleveland Heights area from Shaker Square, where it was a staple. This new space is gorgeous. It was the old Nighttown space. We are in their cigar room, y'all. Have to get down here. Shout out to Brandon Trotowski, who allowed us into this beautiful space, this beautiful mission that Edwins is. We are so happy to be here. Shout out to James on the omelets, y'all.
James hooked them omelets. Was amazing.
Yes. Thank you, James.
Thank you, James.
Y'all will see these pictures, but when he said it was going to be the best omelet,
it was accurate.
Yeah. It was the best omelet that I personally have had. So, if you're in Cleveland, or if you want to visit Cleveland, please visit Edwins right here in the beautiful Cleveland Heights area. All right, we are going to lift the glass. We're going to open this table. As we always do, altogether, to women who heal, build, and brunch.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Brunchers.
All right. Yes. All right. Our brunchers, y'all out there, we are ready to go. Let's get into it. So here's a stat that we want to talk about, and we'll get into what this episode is really going to cover. But 67% of Black children in America live in homes headed by single mothers. That means the majority of us, the love, the structure, and the guidance in our community flows through women who look like us. Yeah. Over 40 women who have grown through some things. I always like to say we grow through, right?
Absolutely.
We are the matriarchs, the emotional anchors, and the transmitters of what love feels like. But the question is, what kind of love are you passing down? And what do we need to unlearn so that our love liberates instead of restricts? Yes. And so we are entering into this conversation around generational love. We are juxtaposing generational trauma because we want to talk about the love, but we also want to talk about how that love comes through for us in our communities and how there's some work that we need to do. So we're going to get into it, y'all. That stat is from the U.S. Census Bureau. These are all verifiable stats, y'all. We give y'all all real information here.
We do our homework.
We do our homework. And we're going to give y'all some resources. We're going to talk about deflector, right? We're going to talk about healing the deflectors of love, right? Through this generational love and resolution of things. Yeah. So I think it's very important to define deflector, right? What does deflector mean? Deflector is something or someone that redirects, diverts, or turns an object, action, or emotion from its original path. Ooh.
It's a word.
When y'all think about that, right? Are we deflecting love with our efforts? What are we doing, right? Are we really contributing to that love that liberates instead of restricts, as we talked about earlier? So we're going to talk about that. In the context of relationships and personal growth, a deflector can refer to behaviors or mechanisms like avoidance, denial, or control. I get chills because I think about how I raised my children, y'all. And I know that's going to come up a lot in this conversation. That prevents that genuine connection or vulnerability. Oh, God, I'm going to start crying early here. The actions often arise from fear. I know fear-mongering in my family, it wasn't intended. It was looked at as love, but it was a lot of that. Or the desire to protect oneself, but they end up blocking the flow of authentic love and communication. Oh, y'all need to talk now, because we've all heard, I did it because I love you, right? But as we have gotten older and wiser, I know for me, we've had to admit that sometimes what we call love was really fear or control or unhealed survival mechanisms. Let's get into it. Marianne Williamson says in her books, A Return to Love, the opposite of love is not hate, it's fear.
That's right.
In our community, love has sometimes come wrapped in yelling and silence and rigid rules. these aren't the opposite of love. They are love deflectors, born of fear. I'll be the first to say I did this with my own children, and I am unlearning, y'all. The relationship, my 25 and 22-year-old, the work that I have to do now is much different than I did before.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask y'all some questions because,
Yeah.
what was one core agreement? As in the 4 agreements, one of the amazing books by Don Miguel Ruiz, we're going to link that in the show notes. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personal. Don't make assumptions, and always do your best about love or success that you observed in your household or within your family growing up. And now that you're 40 plus, how are you actively choosing to break or rewrite that agreement for yourself?
Ooh, child. You ready?
I don't even know if I took a
ready.
sip.
You
of
ready?
my
Go
water.
ahead.
I think I'll start.
You go.
You know, Haja, a lot of the things that you open with just made me really think about the woman that my mother was, and still is to me in my heart every day. My mother was, I always say she was a single mother. She was married 3 times, but she was always the steadfast person in all of our lives, all of her children's lives. And she had dealt with so much, being adopted, being told she was adopted, overcoming that, understanding that she did not want to put those traumas that she had onto her children. Even in the midst of battling drug addiction, alcoholism. My mother was a person who was definitely impeccable with her word. My elders, the women in my life, always told me to be a woman of integrity. So that always stuck with me. Even though they may have put some trauma on me, I knew that my mother was trying to make sure that those traumas didn't stay with me. So I really believe that Black women are superheroes for sure. But, you know, at 40, I get a chance to sit back and look at everything that she went through and did for us. And it was truly out of love. It was truly, truly out of love. Despite everything that she battled and went through, it was like Black woman ninja. Get that out of here.
Let's coin that,
Get that
brunchers.
outta here.
Let's coin
But
that.
yeah,
That's so
but
good.
yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I'm thankful for
Thank
her.
you, Ramon.
You're
Thank you, Ramon.
Yeah, that was,
Clea.
yeah. I mean, that was, thank you for that, Ramad. You know, I think at 44, 40, I was about to say 40.
4th floor.
4th floor, point 4. You know, just thinking about, like, one of the contracts that I made with myself that was not healthy was that my word didn't matter.
Ooh.
And it was a result of experiences. I was very much an experimenter when I was younger, but with people, like a social experimenter. Okay, let me try this in the house and see how it lands. Okay, let me try this in school and see how it lands. Not that I knew that that's what I was doing, you know, it's like, but as I got older and reflected, I was like, oh, wow, you were a social experimenter. And I would always test things out to kind of just get a sense of, can I really be me here?
Yeah.
You know, and what's the outcome going to be? What's the response? And sometimes I didn't always get the response that I thought I deserved, you know, and that had me question certain things. You're like, well, maybe I shouldn't do that. And as a kid, you're impressionable,
Yes.
right? And so if you're not getting the kind of response that feels warm or that feels accepting, I started to pretend a lot, you know? And so another negative contract or agreement was pretending to be someone I wasn't, because in that performance, I saw results that were a little more favorable than the other side of it, right? And so I think that part, when I think about the agreements that I made that were not around being impeccable with my word, it was definitely around, like, kind of playing a little bit, like, okay, if I was a little more like this or a little more like that, what would that be, versus just fully embracing who I was.
Wow.
And so as I've gotten older, being impeccable with my word is a non-negotiable. You know, it's like, this is who I am, and every day I'm still learning a little more about who I am, because I had been so far away from myself. And so as I'm coming to know myself a little more, I'm affirming her more, you know, and so my new agreement is to keep affirming her. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Brunchers, we really want to understand what your new agreements are. How do you take and understand these 4 agreements? Highly recommend this book, The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, along with other books that we'll talk about. Oh, for me, this is an emotional episode today. I think don't take it personal is a big thing. And the thing that you learn in this book, when he talks about don't take it personal, it's everything.
Everything.
Yes.
Whether it is a compliment or an insult or a criticism or redirect, whatever it is, it's not about you.
Yeah.
And I struggled for many years taking things personal. My mother raised 3 of us on her own, and she did the best that she could. And the big thing for me, and I really made an intent to not practice telling my children constantly, be careful, be careful, be careful. It's almost like in our community, if you don't say be careful and something happens when someone goes out there, it's your fault because you didn't tell them to be careful. But what it did was it projected, it made me fearful. It made me afraid, because I'm like, I understand take care. So what I started to say to my children was take care, right? English matters. Because it's I want you to take precautions, but I want you to do it. I want you to go forward anyway. And the restriction, and I'm the deviant of the family, y'all. I'm doing it. I am living this life. I am going to go out there. I love freedom. And that really, it restricted me a lot. What I know is that it wasn't personal. My sister told a story about when she was young, or my mother or my sister told it, and she's my oldest sister, the oldest sister. I'm the baby, if you couldn't tell. And she told a story about going to camp. Someone called my mom while my sister was at camp and said something terrible had happened. That struck fear into my mother. It struck fear into my sister. And so those are the things. And we came after her. So we got a lot of that, right? That fear. It wasn't my mom's fault. It became our problem, you know, because it became this thing. But we hadn't had that experience. But it wasn't personal. So when he talks about don't take things personal, I have had to unlearn that. I have had to release and let go of, they did their best.
Yes, absolutely.
They were really just trying to protect.
Absolutely.
But protection through fear is the most diminishing thing that you can do to the spirit of a child, especially.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Haja, so much in what you said. You know, like I think about, so growing up as a first generation Ghanaian in Cleveland Heights, Ohio in the 80s was not easy. It wasn't easy. And because there were not a lot of us, you know, and there weren't a lot of us that were making it known that there were a lot of us either, if there were, you know, and so it was very difficult to just even embrace that I was African. Little African girl. I was muscular, you know, like just looked very different, had a different name, parents had accents. For me, I was like, this is just all wrong. Like, no. And it made it difficult because I was trying to also fit in, trying to find my space, but also trying to fit in. But then also my parents were trying to do their best because they came to a country that they didn't know. You know what I mean? In a completely different world from Ghana. And now you're here and you're trying to adjust to a new world, a new way, and you have a family. And so to your point, Haja, this piece, and I took a lot of things personally, a lot. And being able to look back now and just say, okay, got it. Everyone was doing the very best that they could. And now I have the baton, you know, and how am I going to choose to move forward? How am I going to choose to run my race, my marathon, my life? But that point of taking it personally, I remember when I reread the book last year, and I got stopped at don't take things personally. Don't take anything personally. And then the message I got, the guidance I got was, I need you to write this chapter out. Handwrite it. So let me tell y'all what
chills,
I did.
y'all. Every episode, I get
Listen,
chills.
Let me tell you what I did, y'all. Because you know when you get a word, you know.
Yes.
And that's not something
Obedience.
you're like, I'm not, I mean, I heard it, but I'm not gonna, don't do that. Brunch hers, don't do that. And so I started handwriting it in my journal, right? And I started having a conversation with the text because there were certain parts that I was writing and I could feel, that's why writing is so powerful.
Oh,
Yes.
definitely.
I could feel that I was resisting something. And so I like slowed down, and then I was like, and then I started asking questions to the text while I was writing.
Wow.
Because I was like, if you told me I need to focus on this,
Yeah.
then I need to embody this a little differently, right? And so if I'm conflicted when I'm writing one word that you just said, or I just finished a sentence and I'm like, well, whatever my conversation is, I need to work with that, sit with that.
Yeah.
And so I started to be in conversation, continue writing again the chapter, be in conversation, still writing. And then eventually got to a point where it was like, okay, start over again and now just write the chapter.
Wow.
You know? And so there's something about when something resonates, when a word resonates, when a conversation resonates, the importance is to sit with it, to be with it. But this emotional connection to taking things personally, I think, is what tends to take our community out.
Yeah.
That we are too emotionally
Got it.
attached because we were abused emotionally.
Ooh,
You know what I'm
yes.
saying? And we don't talk about that. We don't talk about the emotional abuse, the mental abuse,
Yes.
it's not always physical, and physical is wild as well. It's
Yes.
all wild.
Yeah.
all wild.
You know what I mean? Because it's a play with our minds and our hearts and our souls, and that's not what we're here for.
Wow.
You know?
Oh,
real.
man.
That's
Yeah.
really real. So I love the Four Agreements. Another book that caught me was The Mountain Is You.
Okay.
And so I kind of did the same thing with that book. And it was interesting. It was when I was at Van Aken,
Okay.
when our shop was at Van Aken.
Adune Spices, shout out.
Yeah.
At the Adune Spice Co. on
Spices.
Larchmere.
Now I'm watching.
I would sit across from the shop and work while my staff was in, handling the shop. And I was like, you need to listen to this as well as read it. I was like, I feel like I'm back in the second grade, with
Yes.
with the book going,
Yes,
and I'm
in your
reading, but I'm
ears.
taking notes as well.
Yeah.
And I would just stop and just write what questions were coming to my mind. And it just really helped me understand, like, to not really take things personal. Things that people are going through are the things that people are going
Absolutely.
through.
Yeah.
I had a colleague she would just spit venom. And I would just be like, okay, girl, well, it's good to see you. And just walk away.
Yeah.
And recently they came to me and said, I appreciate you for not judging me when I was in a different space.
Yeah.
And I said, I got it.
Yeah.
I felt it.
Yeah.
And I couldn't take it. I'm not going to take that with me. I'm not going
Right.
to allow that to take my energy. But you had to figure it out for yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I'm
Yeah.
glad you overcame that.
Yes.
Absolutely. I know
Yes.
brunchers, you all can totally relate to what we're talking about. And as we evolve, as we grow as women over 40, we come into our own. I love what you all are talking about in terms of pace. I have learned to slow down. I am not naturally slow. My speak is fast. I move fast. I all the things. That does not bode well for my growth and my healing.
Yeah.
Healing requires a slowdown. It requires a pause to understand. It requires me to take a beat and sit with
That's
it.
right.
Yes.
That discomfort
That's right.
is needed
Yeah.
to get to the other side of this hurdle, to get to the other side of I am not my parents. I am who I am. You mentioned I can't remember the word you used specifically, but this baton, this thing
Yeah, the
that you
baton.
own,
Yeah,
the
it's your
baton that
life.
you own, it's
Yeah.
your life.
Yeah.
But so let's get on. So with that in mind,
Yeah.
us being the aunties, hey nieces, we got something for y'all. Thinking back to your 20s and 30s, right? Let's talk to them. What was the biggest love deflector? The control, the fear, the people pleasing that you mistook for true love or stability in your relationships or career or any aspect of your life? What can you look at in terms of your 20s and 30s and kind of relate there?
That makes me think of my former career as a food stylist. And mistaking the people that I'm working with as family.
Oh. Yo, you talk about it be touching like
All over.
Yeah. It was definitely a lesson learned. You know, work is work. And let it just be that.
Yeah.
Those relationships just the way that they just stopped when I left was hurting. It hurt real bad.
You're a Scorpio.
Oh yeah.
Scorpios.
It hurt, but I didn't show it, of course. Of course
not.
Of course not.
Of course you
But
didn't.
it was like, you know, I always had these people's best intentions. And I didn't feel like it was reciprocated. So it was like, do I hold this anger with me or do I let this go?
Yeah.
And is it yours?
Is it mine? It ain't mine.
Yours? It's
It
not
ain't
yours.
mine.
It's
all.
not yours.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much there. So much there. When you talk about work, and I mean, there's just so much. One of the things that I just saw, though, and remembered for myself, recalled for myself, is like in the career space, since you were talking about that, there's the space of settling. And this is any relationship. So, you know, I think everything is a relationship, you know?
Yeah.
So whether it's work, whether it's a friend, whether it's a lover, whatever, it's all a relationship. Whether it's money, it's a relationship. And one of the things that I saw when I was at my first state job in New York State was, and actually the only one in New York State as a state job, but it was this moment where I was like looking. It was a conversation. It was about 4 of us, and we were kind of in a circle near the copy room, near the water cooler, that concept. And there was a conversation going, and I was in my 20s and late 20s, and we were in a conversation, and people were like, oh yeah, I'm like, how long have you been here? You know, and you know, someone was like, oh, I've been here for like 10 years, you know, another one's like, oh, I've been here for like 5, 15, whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, how long are y'all planning to stay? Like, what's the, you know, like, I'm just trying to understand. And, you know, a couple of the conversations were like, oh yeah, when my kids graduate from college. And I'm like, okay, well, how old are your kids? 5. I was like, okay. Ooh. And then someone else had something similar.
Not the life for me.
Yeah. And I remember in that conversation feeling like an outer body experience where I kind of like zoomed out and I looked at the conversation happening, and I was like, can I see me being here in 20 years? Like, where would my spirit be in 20 years if this is the conversation that's happening, you know? And so, like, I think to that question of deflectors and, like, this concept that this is the way your career needs to go.
Yeah.
You have to go work here and then there and then there. And it's like, and everyone doesn't love their job. It's okay. You don't have to. It's like, why are we playing so mediocre here? Like, why do we feel like...
Why we play so small?
Yeah,
Mediocre,
you know what I mean? Like, why do we feel that it's okay to compromise what our hearts and souls need?
Yes.
Like, that is a deflector.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
For
It's
sure.
like, my heart and my soul need this, and you're saying, stick with it?
Yep.
It's like, that is abusive.
It-
You know what I'm saying? That's
Ooh.
abusive. And we have to start looking at it like that. And that's
Yes.
not to say to not plan and to, you know, like, be thoughtful about how you move and how you navigate, but to actually continue this conversation and to pass that down from generation to generation as though that is acceptable,
Yes.
as though that is okay, when we can dream further.
We can
Listen.
dream further.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like that for me is like, don't deflect what's possible.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, love is about possibility.
Oh,
Indeed.
my goodness.
See, and that's why
Endless possibilities.
that's why I love my mama.
Yes.
Right.
That's why I love my mama, because she was a free spirit and allowed me to just really explore.
Yeah.
Like, it don't stop here. My mother was a Christian woman. My father, Nigerian Muslim man. And she was like, baby, you can be whatever religion.
I love that.
You know, study
Yes.
whatever religion fits
Yes.
you.
I
So,
love
like,
that.
I'm enjoying and discovering and asking her questions, and we're having, you know, these discussions. But it's like, discover things.
Yes.
Do not just do what has always been the norm in your family. Try something different.
It's a laugh of
Please
recognition.
try
over there,
something
Haja.
different.
Try
It
something
is.
different.
My experience, it's interesting because I feel like I grew up in a home that was a bit more rigid. And I want to shout out my mother. My mother did amazing with her girls. That said, there's always opportunity, and I am the free spirit. I think my children got that, but I did not necessarily get that. There were rules, there were structures, there was a way things should look, not necessarily it needed to look good, but it necessarily was not good,
Yeah.
right? And so I think
Yeah.
that is a farce. I think that it is a denial of love. I think that as I got into my 20s and I met my children's father, I was largely insecure, even though I postured as secure. But beneath it all, it was rooted in a lot of, am I good enough? You know, do I have anything to offer? It was very much so deep imposter before I even learned about what an imposter was. I literally used to walk around feeling like I had an L on my head that everybody could see. Literally.
Wow.
I thought, I remember being at Whole Foods once, and I was younger. I was in my 20s. I think both my children were born at that time. And I just remember being ashamed.
Yeah.
Being ashamed, right? But again, it wasn't because of, it was because of what I had learned.
Yeah.
And it was because of where I was supposed to be versus where I was at. It was the things that were going on in the background. It was being with my kid's father, for goodness sake. You talked about the willingness to leave when you are not happy. I see people in relationships, and they count time that's in the business world they call sunk costs. You cannot get back 20 years, but you can sure enough save 20 more.
Come on.
You don't save
Come
20
on.
more years, but with the 20 that you spent. That's
Yeah.
not the way that it works. So
Yeah.
people, one thing that I remember making the decision to leave my children's father, it was not a sustainable situation. It was not rooted in a high self-esteem of myself. When we got into the relationship, I was 19 years old when I met him. And so it's like, why stay? And thankfully, I was rooted enough. The advice my mother gave me, I remember where I was driving when she told me this. She said, take the emotion out of it and you'll see things more clearly. And I got real logical at that point, which isn't hard for an Aquarius. If you know, you know. I got real logical, and it was time for me to go. So it is this understanding that I cannot allow fear or people pleasing or
Yes.
this idea of this
Life you're
relation,
supposed
this
to
life,
have.
right? This life we're
Yes.
supposed to have. I'm supposed to stay with this man and get married and all the things, but everything was not right about it for me.
Yes.
I needed to grow and move on. So that was a true lesson.
And we give
that
thanks
came
that you
through.
did.
Indeed.
We give thanks that you did.
It would be a completely different situation.
And it's allowed you to move that way in other
Aspects of life,
relationships.
right?
It
Yeah.
absolutely has.
Yeah.
There are things that when you go through certain points in your life, the traumatic periods, and I had some traumatic periods in my earlier years, there are pointed things, right? Like I can remember where I was driving, for God's sake.
Yeah.
I used to tell people that when I was with my kid's father and the things that happened and the things that were done, when I say I walked around feeling like I had an L on my head, I felt like I was filleted open and on Jumbotron to the world. That's the way that I described it. Imagine someone just seeing your guts, right? But this is when you are not whole, when you have not figured out who you are, when you have not taken control of the baton. I hadn't taken it. My brain wasn't developed.
No, at all.
Like,
At
it was
all.
a lot, but it was.
Listen.
I'm thankful my children have made different choices, and I help them through their journeys. But I appreciate you all's input and feedback
Yeah,
there. Love
absolutely.
deflectors are serious and significant, and we really want you brunchers out there to really start to think about that. All right. Another great book by John Miguel Ruiz is called The Mastery of Love. This book is phenomenal. Love is, oftentimes I think how we are socialized around love, it's very attached, it's very possessive. That is not love. That is a deflector. But he speaks about the war we wage on ourselves.
Yes, child.
How did the love you received teach you to beat up on yourself or love up on yourself? And what is the first step you took in your 40s to choose the mastery of love for your own soul? Ooh, y'all. I can start if y'all need a moment, because
Yeah.
I dug my heels into the dirt at 29 years old. So this is 16 years ago. Am I not? Oh, geez, that's been 16 years. Y'all can talk to my children. My daughter says that was, no, maybe that was my fat year. She used to say that, but no, I think it was. I feel like it was 29, because I do it by her age. She was 9 years old at that time, but. I said, I'm not cussing no more. I started reading this book, Ethics for the New Millennium by the Dalai Lama, which is a phenomenal book. But I dug my heels in and I really started to focus on my own thing. Another thing that I did years ago when I was going through the separation, I was never married to their father, but I was going through the separation. I started to point the finger at myself. I took full responsibility for my outcomes. And when you do that, you take back your power and your control, right?
Yeah.
And so as time, I remember when I moved out with my two little ones, Amira was 4 and my son Jay was 1, and I moved out. I was broker than a joker, y'all, but I was in my own space, in my own place, and I was doing my own thing, and I was free. And that liberation, that freedom really helped me. And so fast forward a few years after that, I started to really root myself in the journey around personal growth and healing. And I call it personal healing. People don't necessarily love the word self-help books, right? I don't know, it's got like some sort of taboo to it, like therapists used to back in the day. But I rooted myself in self-love. First of all, I took full responsibility. I said, this is all your fault. If you don't want this kind of outcome, then you have to make different decisions. And I separated fully from my kid's father, and I said, I won't do this with you because I don't know how you get cancer, but you will give it to me. And so I took a step back, but he wouldn't give me cancer. It would be my allowing him access to me in a way that was inappropriate.
That's right.
Which it had always been inappropriate, but it was inappropriate to allow him access to me any longer with the knowledge that I had picked up. So I needed to be rooted in, how don't you continue to go down this hole? So I started this journey. I said, I'm not going to cuss no more. That didn't last long. But what did last?
Tell the people.
Sometimes the words be needed.
I said, listen, fuck it. It just has to happen. And my mama was a cusser. I think she still is, y'all. But it's just color. That's okay. I'm smart too. So I started to read and I started to understand myself, and I started to really point the finger and take accountability, because I know that everything that is happening in my life is a result of a decision that I have made.
Bingo.
I do not point the finger outward. Yes. And like they say, when you pointing the finger, it's both pointing back at you. 3, 4, 3.
More.
They are pointing back. I needed to own it.
Yeah.
I take full responsibility. And ever since then, and one other thing that I did in this journey of leaving him, my colleague and I, we had a Chipotle napkin. My kids know this story all too well. We wrote on the inside of the Chipotle napkin, fuck it. And when we had down days, when we had challenging days, we would pass that napkin back and forth. Symbolism matters. Use it. Read these books. Dig your heels in. Do your work. Do not point the finger outward.
Yes.
Because it is not personal. What happened with my children's father, and I'm not going to say he's a horrible person, but what happened with him was based on what he knew in his life.
Absolutely.
His journey.
Yep.
He did the best that he could with what he knew.
Yep.
And if you knew his story, you would have compassion for him as well. And I still do. I just stay away from him. But anyway, I'm going to pass this on.
No, I love that. Thank you. For me, it takes me back to the friendships that I lost. I lost some friendships of girlfriends who were childhood friends. as I evolved. And it was very difficult. Oh my God, it felt like the worst breakup I had
It's a
ever
different kind of pain.
experienced in my entire life. And I was like, how do I go on? I don't have anyone to talk to. And I was like, girl, yes you do. Yes you do. And I feel like my community definitely stepped up for me, and my sisters stepped up for me. I gained so many more.
Day twos.
Listen.
Oh, I love that.
My day twos
I love that.
Bad.
go
Love that.
hard for me.
I love that.
And even one girlfriend came back and said, you know, you my sister. We gonna fight.
Yes.
We gonna disagree.
Yep.
We gonna, it is what it is, but I love you at the end of the day.
Yes.
And I said, you know what? Thank you for coming back and saying that.
Yeah.
But it's like, I have to take care of me first.
Yes.
My great aunt always told me the first law of nature is self-preservation.
It is.
On.
And I'm like, I can't handle everybody else.
Yeah.
I got to take care of me first. And if this is the journey that I see for myself, the people who are going to come along with me are going to come along with me and support me and lift me up. And I'm going to do the same for them.
Absolutely. And she does an amazing job.
Thank you.
I love these women. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I had to stop beating up on myself about that, because I was like, well, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
What did I do here? And it's like, no, you were just you. And it's okay to just be you. If that's too much for somebody, fuck them.
You are you are never too much.
No, so.
Yeah, I love it.
I love it.
Koya, what you think? You got
I mean,
something
there's
for
just,
that?
so many things. What I'll say is at 29, I started a self-love challenge. And it was on Facebook. I invited my Facebook community to participate with me. And that was in 2011. And it was this call of like, what is it like to really fall in love with yourself and love yourself unconditionally? Because I didn't know what that was. I had a lot of conditions around my love, and I wanted to understand, how can I love myself unconditionally? So I was like, the best way to grow for me is to do it in community. You invite community in. It's like, listen, I don't know how to do this, but maybe we can figure this out together. And there was something we did every day for 30 days to cultivate a little more self-love. And so this piece of self-preservation, this piece of, and you know, in 2011, a lot of people were not initially talking about self-love. Then it picked up and became this, like, social media took it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, it did.
And I found myself in the middle, like, well, this isn't the way that I would be articulating self-love. Like, that's not what this is. Like, what was starting to be a trend, I was like, self-love is not a trend. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is literally like a lifeline.
Yes.
It's not a trend.
Yeah.
So it kind of like took me back a little more in terms of, I need to really understand for myself what this is so that I don't get sucked into this other conversation about it. But ultimately, it is about self-preservation. It is about creating loving boundaries
Yes.
with yourself,
Yeah.
Yes.
from yourself.
Yes.
Sometimes, you know, like sometimes
Yes.
we have to put things in place that is like, okay, well, I got to put this there because if I do this, because if such and such asks me about this, I know I'm going to say yes. So then what is the thing that I could say in advance that already knows that I'm going to be a no, that feels comfortable for me and authentic, whatever it is, you know, you have to get, it's one of those things that's like, when you know that you need self-care, no one needs to tell you how to do it,
Yeah.
but you got to do it.
You got to
Yep.
do it.
And so
You
do
have to
your
make the
work and
decision.
figure out, how can I do it in a way that feels most authentic to me?
Yeah.
But it is, you have to preserve yourself, because
Yeah.
who would be, if you're not here as Vermont, who you operating for?
Yep.
Ooh,
Yep.
I love
Whose
it.
body are you occupying?
Whose body are you occupying? Whew. Sambafu Some teaches in the spirit of intimacy that true intimacy is not just with people, but with life itself. For the women finally choosing to live out loud, y'all know we loud and living over 40. For these women in their 40s, how are you building intimacy and connection with your new life vision, independent of what others expect?
I would say boundaries, as I was just saying. It's like I have started to set some real hard boundaries.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I set it and when I then do it, because it's one thing to set the boundary and then another when it's live and at play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like the aftershock of that, of being like, oh my God, was that too mean? Was that, like that conversation of,
goodness.
you know that you set that boundary for a reason, then you did it, and then you're like, do I need to send a text? Should I, like all of that
Oh
stuff.
my goodness, I do the
And
same
so-
thing. Thank you for
That affirmation.
It's an
not just
affirmation.
you.
It's not misery, love, company. It is
No.
affirmation. Like, oh my goodness, it's not just me.
It's
Yeah.
not just you.
Yeah.
But then you still have to stay firm with that boundary. And I
Yeah.
would say with that boundary, I have been more intentional about talking myself into the things that I know I love.
Oh,
Just
I
keep
love
talking yourself into
that.
it. Yeah.
Ooh. Mike,
Ditto.
Right. Look,
I'm honestly working on my boundaries for sure.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I agree with
That's like when I came to these ladies with this podcast, I was telling the story about when I called Ramad and I was talking 1,000 miles an hour because again I do everything fast. I used to get in trouble in school for reading too fast out loud. I was so nervous, and it's even with Quia. It was like she gonna say no, oh my God, I'm not worth it. Like why would she do this with me? Like I was completely nervous, and it's like you just I don't know. I still struggle with boundaries. I still struggle with feelings of adequacy. Like she don't want to do this with me. Why would she do this with me? It's just this kind of this gnawing thing in your head that it's never enough. It's never good enough. And so that is a daily struggle, a daily fight. One of the things that many years ago, and I want to do this, and y'all brunchers, tell me if y'all are interested because we'll put this together. I wanted to do a women's summit called Becoming Undone. And the way that I visually represented this was imagine a pyramid where it's upside down though. You are not at the pinnacle, you are at the bottom. And so what happens is that everything is piled on top of you.
Yes.
And that is who you become. So you're at the bottom of all of this weight that people have put on you. This,
Great
again,
visual.
how things look, not how they are, right? So everything had to be like certain way
Child, I'm
aesthetic.
sorry.
Okay, I know, right? So a certain way aesthetically, it had to look a certain way, but it didn't matter that I didn't really feel that, right? And so you peel that layer off. You peel your family name expectations, your educational expectations, your financial, societal, what makes you somebody and what success looks like. You peel that off. And by the time you really get to you're crushed because you have been under the weight of what you were supposed to be instead of who you are, instead of handling your own baton.
Yes.
So this is a
Yes.
peeling back of layers to become undone,
Yes.
Yes.
to remember, right? We
Yes.
talk about, listen, we're going to get y'all
Yes.
some books through this
Yes.
podcast journey, but the remembrance.
Yeah.
Because when you think about children, I think about my little nieces, clack that T, she gonna know what that is. But I think about my little nieces, they're so free. And then I think about my other nieces watching their evolution and how they became. I remember when my one niece came a little bit more demure. I was like, what happened to her? Right, because the weight starts to pile on her. So we have to become undone through this journey,
We
y'all.
do.
And
We
if
do.
y'all are interested, I really would love to put this.
Let's
this,
do it. I've
this
done
event
many
together.
summits. Let's do it. Rob. Let's do
Listen,
it.
y'all
Let's do
don't
it.
understand the qualifications
it.
on this panel here. I mean, not from a braggadocious perspective, but just from a life perspective. I am a life teacher, right? Like I am teaching you from my life experiences, and that is very valid, and it is valid for you too.
Absolutely.
So don't ever forget that. But we're gonna move on. This has been powerful.
Yes. Yes.
We have a handout for y'all. We're gonna paste it in our show notes, and we'll talk about that real shortly. But we're gonna talk about one more question here. Let's talk about ritual. Malia Doma Patrice Somé said, "Where ritual is absent, the young ones are restless or violent. There are no real elders, and the grown-ups are bewildered. The future is dim."
Child.
As a newly self-appointed elder, I don't like the word elder, y'all.
Child, I
I don't know,
know.
are we elder yet?
Seasoned.
Thank you.
Seasoned.
Adun
Seasoned.
Spices Larshmere.
Yes, we spiced. we are seasoned.
sure.
And the young men call us. Are we?
What is it?
I don't know. What do the young men call the
Cougars.
cougars?
Oh,
Are we
Lord.
cougars? I don't know.
Oh, my God.
But that's not this episode. As a newly self-appointed, seasoned
Yes.
woman, what intentional healing ritual or boundary, a practice or a belief are you instituting now to ensure your future and the future influence and the future you influence is bright. How do you do that? What are you doing?
I mean, this is such a powerful question because I think sometimes when we go through our day to day, we don't realize that it is ritual.
Yeah.
You know, and I think sometimes,
Yeah.
unfortunately, in our community, because, and especially the women, because we're navigating so much, and we're the emotional warriors, we're the physical, we're trying to take care of your spirit, like all of those things that we feel stretched in because of the fear, and the indoctrination of fear. I think if we could understand that everything I do, from when I wake up in the morning, how I make my bed, how I prepare my breakfast, my tea, like if I wake up in the house going fast, that is a ritual you're going to create for the next generation. Is that the stain you want to leave?
Ooh.
Or is there is there a different kind of vibration you want to leave? And if so, then in our own homes, and if that means you have to wake up 2 hours earlier than you wanted to. Even if you have to wake up 2 hours earlier than you would want to.
Look at me.
Oh, let me look at you. Even if you would have to wake up 2 hours earlier than you would need to.
Receive.
I'm a work in progress.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, sis.
Work that progress in.
Yes.
And do it, because the thing is, it's temporary. It's just to build, it's to create the conditioning that's necessary.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're going to be doing that for the whole year.
Yeah.
It's like, but it is a detox from the previous way that we were living, and the ritual. It became ritual. It wasn't ritual. It was bad habits. But it became a ritual because now the people in your home or in your environment, they pick up on whatever they're seeing as that's the way to be. Even if they try to undo it, they're there in that household, and it's creating this tonality of go fast, go fast, go fast, or always do this, or always have the TV on.
Yes.
Always have noise going.
Yes.
It's like, at what point are you able to make sure that you can
Be still.
simmer down, be still, and actually hear the divine guidance that's trying to come through you? And I tell you, because a lot of people are not waking up early, it's the perfect time for you to listen deeper.
Oh,
Yes.
wait. Okay. Did y'all hear divine guidance? Time to listen deeper.
Yes.
I hope y'all taking notes. The good thing is y'all can play this back as many times and share it,
There you go.
and like and subscribe. Woo.
Hit that 15-second backwards.
Yes.
button.
Catch that word?
Go back again. For me, I think my healing ritual, I start fast at home, but when I get to the shop, I slow down.
Okay. That's a good
And I'm
ritual.
very
Beautiful shop it is.
intentional about how I open my shop
Yeah.
and clearing the space and welcoming people in. And that's why I think just being calm and deliberate and observant
Yeah.
of what people may need and what I need, knowing that I need just that calmness.
Yeah.
You might need a little bit calmness when you walk in here too. You frantic, I gotta get this, I gotta get.
And you feel it at a
Okay,
do.
you feel it.
Yeah.
I think that takes me back to just being a 911 dispatcher. I had to be the calm, and be in control. And I think that is what makes me hard to read sometimes.
She
Because
is,
I'm
y'all.
just like, I'm
You are
sitting back,
hard to
I'm observing probably 5 different
Yeah.
situations that are happening. But I think being calm and just calculated and just paying attention just really slows me down and allows me to see what is happening so I can move accordingly.
Yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful.
good.
I'm not the best with this. I'll be honest. One thing that I will do is in the car I will drive with no music. I try to just sit in awareness of when I am overdoing. To pull back some on social media. Really, get more rooted Go back to your books. I listen to the same books over and over, new ones too, but I will replay those books again. Y'all, we got a list for y'all if you want to know. Ask, because we do not gatekeep here at Group Chat Over Brunch.
And we read.
Brunchers,
Yes,
and we read.
and study.
And study. And that's the key. And I think that's a very good word. I think it's the study. And it's not just the study of the content in the book. It's the study of how the content reacts to you. It's like Aquia was saying earlier about writing. And she said, no, I got stuck. It's that feeling in that pit of your chest and your stomach. And you're like, oh, why am I having this?
That's right.
That's what I do daily. I do think that is a ritual though, right?
That is a
when
ritual.
I start to feel like, yesterday I was straightening up I moved into a new house and I can't stand stuff being everywhere, so I had to organize, and I came across a letter and it put me on edge, and I said, well, why are you on edge? So it's questioning yourself, right? Not just accepting what comes up for you. It's like, hold on, pause, don't judge it, listen to it, assess it, understand it, let it go.
That's
right. And so that is a practice for me. And I used to tell people I'm cleansing my thoughts every day.
Yes.
And because of these practices and rituals that I do, I don't have to clean them as much, y'all.
That part.
My shadow side is, look, it's still out there, but it's not running rampant over my life.
Yeah.
Because I am sitting with these thoughts. I'm not judging it. I'm not calling myself names. I don't deprecate or anything like that. I'm saying, well, why is this coming up for you?
That's right.
Right? So I think that's a really good practice. All right, we're going to keep it moving, y'all. Amazing, amazing, amazing combo. We have a generational love blueprint that we are going to share with you all. This is a little mini version of it. But we want you to sit with your families and we want you to think about what generational love looks like for you. We want you to look at how love has been delivered to you, where it has some opportunities, right? Maybe the intention was there, but intent does not always equal the outcome that it was intended. So go through and think about how love has come down for you. One last question. What does allowing love look like to you now? Allowing, what does that look like to you now?
Allowing people to do for me.
Chills.
I mean, I'm very much that I can do it myself, and you ain't gonna do it right. It ain't gonna be right if I don't do it. So, learning that people also love what we are doing, and they want the opportunity to help and be there. And so love for me is allowing people in and allowing people to do for me.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's
I
so good.
love that. I'm, similar to what you said around boundaries. I think you said boundaries. You're working on that. I'm like, I'm working on the allowing. And what I will say is, this is an example of it. Like allowing people in a particular way. I think one of my most intimate places and spaces are my thoughts. Which is why I love a good conversation. I love a good conversation.
Yes.
And it's a very intimate part because it is like a high for me.
Yeah.
It's like there are so many places we can go in a conversation, and when people allow for love to penetrate more than anything else, you know what I mean? It's like it's and the freedom to just be who you are. It just creates a different kind of allowance for love to like just really. Zora Neale Hurston has a quote. I'm not gonna say it exactly right, but it's connected to love allows your soul to crawl out of its hiding places, essentially. Something to that effect. And I think the allowing, like I have been actively working on how to allow myself to like pop out more, like and
Pop
how
out
to
and
just
show up. You already know.
pop out, in my way, which is thought led, but but it's spirit, it's heart. But in terms of like what comes out of my mouth, it's like real thought. It's like really intentional, and even allowing myself to be more in conversations like this and in spaces like this, and like just letting it just stack. You know, it's like, let's get more,
Compound
more,
interest.
more. Compound
Yes,
interest.
compound
That's right.
interest.
You stacking
Good
it,
return
boo.
on investment.
Yes,
Thank you, boo.
return on investment
Thank
account.
you.
Look, we
Thank you.
throwing some business terms at y'all. we know we got those brunchers out there to get it all. I love that. For me, there's a great book by Michael Singer called The Surrender Experiment. I read this book probably 3 years ago. I read this book, actual hard copy, and it was an amazing book. And what came out of that was, for me, let life lead. And so I have been moving in this space of letting life lead. So that in itself is an allowing. It is a surrendering, a letting go. The thing is that don't just do that haphazardly. Do the work.
Yes.
Because when you do the work, you trust that what is coming for you is what you actually desire, right? And so one thing for me too is harmonizing my energy to desire and attract only what is meant for me.
Right.
So if I work on me and I allow and I relax, like they say, let God, you know what I'm saying? Let go, let God.
Yes.
Listen,
Yes.
that is the allowing. That gives me exactly what is meant for me at that time. I have no regrets. There is no sadness. There is only, that wasn't meant for you, girl.
Yeah.
You couldn't allow it. You can allow it. Don't, like they say, don't force. If it don't fit, don't force it.
Right.
So that's that. So this is about playing to win, y'all.
Yeah.
This is about not parenting to lose, not being in ourselves in who we are to lose. We don't want children to only survive us. We want children to grow because of us. That is the criticality around what we are doing here today.
Yes.
That is generational love. That is what we are leaving y'all with. We're going to take one question from our Ask Aunty segment, one of our nieces, and we don't just y'all give a quick answer because we got to wrap up here. How do I discipline? This is one from one of our nieces. Hey, nieces.
Hey, nieces.
How do I
Baby.
discipline without recreating fear? Whew.
I think sharing our stories and our experiences, helping the next generation understand why.
Yeah.
And that why is how we lived through it. And through that certain experience. We don't want them to be fearful. We weren't fearful. If we were fearful, we don't want to pass that on.
Yes.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
What
good.
you got, Quia?
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I would say, before you discipline, do your own self-checks.
Yes.
See if your nervous system is regulated. See if your mind is calm. And then, because what I believe is important is to not let you guide the discipline.
Yeah.
You know, like whatever you might believe in, if it's any kind of higher source, I would say allow the higher source to step in, you know, and make sure that it's not you. Because usually the fear is what's going to be doing the discipline, and that's going to leave the wounds that you don't see.
Oh, that's
check
a
in with
good
yourself.
one. I remember I stopped whipping my children. I grew up with whippings, but I stopped whipping my children. First of all, it left me feeling horrible, and it's not productive. It's not constructive to me. So it's very, very important that we do not whip our children. All right, y'all, we're gonna close with our closing ritual. Thank you first and foremost. Again, shout out to Brandon and the crew here at
thank
Edwins.
you.
Beautiful,
Thank you,
beautiful
thank you,
place,
thank
beautiful
you.
establishment. We are truly grateful to be in this beautiful city, Cleveland, Ohio. This is Cleveland Heights, Ohio, a suburb of Cleveland. Our closing ritual, we are going to pass the plate. We're going to leave y'all with some songs. What's the first plate? What you putting on the plate, Quia?
Okay, a song?
No, what you putting on the plate?
Truth.
I love that.
Truth. I'm putting truth on the plate.
Yeah.
Make sure that there's this quote about there's a connection between the lies we tell ourselves and mental illness. And so, you know, I would say as much as you can, cultivate a truth ritual practice every day.
I think that is awesome. And I'm going to have become undone. I know that's 2 words, but become undone. Question and peel back the layers. It is not an insult to your family. It is not an insult to the work that your parents did. You can still love them, and they could still have had opportunities to grow. Those 2 things can be true at the same time. So become undone.
I'm gonna say integrity. Understand where you are, where you came from, and where you're trying to go, and build from there. Build from where you are and continue to grow up.
Yes, grow up. We're gonna leave y'all with a few songs. I'm gonna change one of these. We're gonna Love's in Need of Love Today by CB Wonder. Y'all better go out there, listen to it. Living My Life Like It's Golden,
Yes.
Living My Life by Jill Scott.
Scott.
And one of my favorite new songs is Black Woman. Oh, Black Woman. What is her name that sings this song? Why don't I know it?
I don't know, but you sounded great singing.
Listen.
Oh, we're gonna paste it in the show notes. But until next time, thank you, brunchers. This is your
you.
table. We are glad you joined us
Thank
today.
you.
We hope that you take this generational love map, share it with your family, go through it, figure out what generational love means for you and how we got to peel back these layers. Until next time, cheers. This table is closed.